Hi, my name is Shauna Getterman, and I live in Jacksonville, Florida. I teach pre-K all the way to 8th grade, and I'm so excited to see you today here. I am a former graphic designer. That is what I studied, and I was doing a lot of graphic design for toy companies and then became a toy designer, which led me to my next career of being an art teacher. It's all been a perfect fit. So we're going to learn some tips and tricks to make your slideshows really fun and engaging and interactive for your students. So I can't wait to start. Are you ready to become a graphic designer? The biggest tip I have for you is to keep your presentation visually simple. There's really not a lot going on. It just highlights some main ideas. Try to have one concept per slide. This enables your students to focus in on one idea at a time. The picture can be an example of the lesson or a hint that can start a class discussion. For example, if I was going to show this slide, I would start a class discussion of what are the benefits of using one concept per slide? And then my class can either discuss it out loud if we're live, if we're in a Zoom meeting, they can write it in the comment section, or they can go to Google Classroom and write some comments. Are you ready to learn about typography? Here's a crash course. Keep it simple, which is really the theme of this entire presentation. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the title. The title is in a bold, big typeface. I usually do all caps. It is the main idea. And sometimes I put a header behind it so you can see the purple header to show how important this title really is. The next type is a simpler typeface. It's a lot easier to read, and it's going to hold all of your information. I usually put at the most 1 to 3 sentences of type at the bottom, and it's usually in a smaller typeface, and it really is the supporting facts to your title. If there's too much type on your slideshow, the kids won't read it. They will be bored. I know if I'm looking at a slideshow and the slide is a full slide of all type, I'm lost. Really, the slideshows are this visual tool and to have a conversation with. I love to include samples of the wrong way to do it. So here you can see this is the wrong way to create a slide. You can see how overwhelming all that type is, and I'm not sure my students are really going to take the time to even read it. Giphy.com is a super sneaky tool to use. It brings viewers to the focal point. It highlights important information by bringing the Giphy of Van Gogh straight on top of Starry Night. It also engages students, and it adds a good bit of humor to your slides. I can go to Giphy.com and type in certain keywords to find my moving images. So here I've searched line, wavy line, color wheel, shape, squares, circle, and zigzags. And these are all from Giphy.com. And now we're going to learn how to bring them into your slides. We're going to add a GIF to our slide now. I'm using Google Slides. You can use Microsoft, whatever you want that's easiest for you. Now I have this open here, but I also in my window have a separate page for Giphy.com. And the reason it's a separate page and not just a tab is because it's easiest for me to be able to drag the GIFs onto my presentation this way. So since I'm looking for elements of art, I'm going to type in color wheel and see what pops up. Now, a lot of different things pop up, and I want to show you the difference. And this is, again, why I have it on 2 tabs. So I'm going to pull this one out. And when it comes on, you're going to notice it has this black background. I really don't want that black background because it's kind of distracting. So what I like to do is go into stickers here. And when I go into stickers, it gives me a PNG file. and that will have a transparent background, which is the kind I want because I want to put a couple of GIFs on. And if I put too many with these other backgrounds, it will get confusing. So I like this one here, so I'm just dragging it over and it pops up. It's really that simple. And I can enlarge it. Now also I have all of this white space around here, which sometimes is annoying when I have to move things. So I can double click it and just make that a little smaller here. A little too further in, there. And now let's type in wavy line. And you can see nothing that I need really comes up. So I'm going to click into the stickers, and now you can see I have a whole bunch of wavy lines to choose from. So I'm just going to move this over, click on it, and drag it over. And now I have some wavy lines. So it's really that simple to create your GIFs. Some of you are teaching remotely, some of you are in classrooms, some of you are being zoomed into classrooms, and some only get to give their presentations to their students via Google Classroom, and they don't even get to see the students. So I like to have a couple of extra links in my slideshows. That way it can send students where I'd like them to go. So I'm going to go back in Giphy and type in button, and you can see it's giving me a lot of weird buttons. But I'm going to go back to the stickers and see if there's one that I like. I'm going to do the tap here. And the reason I'm going to do the tap here, again, I'm clicking on it and just dragging it over, is because I am going to put this here. So I have learn more about Vincent van Gogh's Sunflowers, tap here. And then I'm going to go to insert, link, and I've already bookmarked the page. So I'm typing that in and pressing apply. So now when students click the tap here, it's going to take them to this page about Vincent van Gogh, and they can learn about his sunflower pictures. We're going to learn a couple of ways to get some images into your slides. The first one is Google image search. It's really simple. I'm going to go to insert, image, search the web, and then I get my tab. So I'm going to type in sunflowers, and I get this lovely, lovely picture of a sunflower. But let's say I don't want a background. I can write transparent in front of anything. And now it's going to give me a PNG file, which means it will not have a background. It's coming up all the way there. So you can see there's no background on it. So that is one simple way to do to create photos. The other way is to go to unsplash.com, and unsplash.com is a website that has tons of open source photos. So let's type in Unsplash. They're all just usable images that you can download, and I try to give credit to the photographer, but they're open source images, which makes it really easy. Canva.com is one of my favorite things to use. It has GIFs, clip art, photos, almost anything I need. I go there and then I download them and put it into my files, my slideshows. You can get a free teacher account. You can email them and they will give you the deluxe account. You can import PNGs with transparent backgrounds, and really they just have tons and tons of resources. This is an example of something I made. I just made a create your own comic book template outline for early finishers. You can make reference sheets. So we did royal portraits. So I just put a whole bunch of royal pictures in it. And you can also create students' accounts as well. You can create your Canva account. Once you're done, you can choose your template. I like using the Instagram template only because it's a square, not necessarily to post on Instagram. I can click on photos and type in different things. So sometimes I like to put the art on frames if I'm posting it to social media. So I can put some frames out. I can also see if I want to, maybe, let's see if I type in color wheel, what happens here. So it gives me a bunch of different color wheels. So there's paper. There's just a whole variety of things to choose from. I could also click on elements, and you can see I was doing that lesson on royalty. So I can click here and put the king here. Also, if I want to do a background, maybe I could do a whole bunch of different paint colors. I love how that looks. So I'm going to delete him, and I can really just zoom in, and I could use this for something, I'm just not sure what, maybe a slideshow. You can also add text. Super easy to make it bigger, changing the typeface. I mean, it really just has so many different options. It also has different styles and color palettes you can use. It has videos and backgrounds you can choose from. I also like under elements, if I'm doing paint, if I click up here and do animated and apply the filters, it gives me a bunch of animated paint as well. So I can go ahead and do that. So you can see there's really just so many different things you can do using Canva. And then to bring it into my picture, I'm going to take out the moving image. All I have to do is download it, and I'm going to do it as a PNG. And if I didn't have the background, I could do it as transparent. So I'm going to download it. Takes a couple seconds, save it to my desktop. And now I could just drag it up, and it's in my presentation. It's really just that simple. In first grade, we were learning about koalas and the elements of art. So I found this koala picture in Canva, and then I added a couple of lines to it that I wanted to go over with my students. And then in Giphy.com, I got the animated lines on the sides. The last tip is adding a shadow. Sometimes I just add a shadow to all the objects so everything looks cohesive and like it was meant to be together. So I'm just going to highlight the GIFs, the picture, and the paint blobs. I'm going to insert, I'm going to go to Format Options. I'm going to click on the drop shadow. And you can see by just having a simple drop shadow, it really just brings the slide together. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Just to recap, step 1 is to keep it simple and to the point. Step 2 is to try and use no more than 2 fonts and make one very readable and clear. Step 3 is to add some humor. And step 4 is to have some fun. You can contact me at shoshiartroom@gmail.com, and I'm also on Twitter and Instagram at shoshiart. Have a great rest of the conference.